Hi, everyone. Welcome to my studio. I'm Alexis Levine, and I'd like to tell you about my workshops that I love to teach for Cheap Joes. Let me just start by saying that before the pandemic, I was teaching up at Cheap Joe's in Boone in their beautiful in-house studio every other year. And since the pandemic, I've been Zooming multiple workshops every year. I think at this point, I've taught 16 or 18 workshops for Cheap Joes. I love to teach for Cheap Joes, and I also love to teach on Zoom. I just thought I'd kind of show you a little bit about the way it works. When I teach a workshop, I make good use of screen sharing. And what I want to do now, I'm just going to share the screen to some pictures and kind of walk you through a recent demo. So this was a recent online demo. And I started out by sharing my source photo with my students. This is a photo taken up in Alaska on a rainy day some years ago. And before I start a demo, I always talk about my source photo, my goals for my painting, how I'm going to interpret my photo, never copy, how I'm going to design my painting. So I give my students a lot of information before I ever even pick up a pencil. But then I do pick up a pencil. And so I can walk my students now through the start of this painting, and I'm going to do the same with you. So here's the start of my value study in my sketchbook, just lines. Now I'm adding value, and I've got the painting kind of planned, designed out. And then I start on my watercolor paper. This is my 140-pound cold press Kilimanjaro that I'm using, starting to draw very lightly, drawing darker. Notice here, I haven't put the figure in, and the figure is really important to the story that I want to tell. So I draw the figure on a small piece of tracing paper. Then I draw it about the size that I think I want it to be in the painting. Then I take that piece of tracing paper and I put it on top of the drawing, and you can see the tracing paper right here. I can move her around now, higher, lower, left, right, until I decide the best place for her, which I ultimately decided was right here. And then I transfer her onto the watercolor paper. So this is where I was at the start of this demo. And what I want to do now is take you over to my painting table. So here's the actual demo. Now this demo is finished, so I'm not going to actually paint on it, but I just want to show you how good my camera setup is. So I've got a camera that obviously shoots straight down on the demo, side by side with my palette. I can mix paint, so here I am mixing paint. And when I teach, I always explain, well, okay, I'm using some Viridian green now. I'll put a little purple in it, a little more purple in it. And so I talk at length about what I'm mixing, how much water I'm using, the size of the brush that I'm using, and then how I'm going to apply it to my painting. Another nice thing about my setup is that you can see I can zoom in really, really close to my demo. So if I really want you to see what I'm doing on the figure, I can get my camera in really close and you get an excellent view. So this is the camera setup that I have, which works extremely well. Now back to the pictures though. So I just want to say that every day of the workshop, there will be about an hour to an hour and a half of me teaching my lesson and working on a demo. And then there's the rest of the class time is devoted to me talking with you, each student, one at a time, individually, one-on-one, on the Zoom screen. I invite you to send me pictures of your paintings that you're working on in the workshop, and I put them up on the Zoom screen. So here's an example of a painting that a student sent me recently. Here's her source photo. Here's her value study. Here it's a little bit bigger. I can make lots of comments, offer feedback, give suggestions. We talk back and forth. It's a really great way to for me to help you to do your paintings. So I just want to say also that I keep the workshops deliberately small, 15 students or less, which gives us plenty of time to talk one-on-one like that during every class. And it helps us to get to know each other better and just kind of feel good about all being together in the class. And it feels real. It really does. It works. So come on out. Join me at Cheap Joe's for an online workshop sometime soon. Okay? Bye now.